everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. I am thrilled, I am beyond excited, and it is because we're hitting a milestone here. And if you're thinking like, yeah, KC Tool Hall 74, well, that's not really a milestone. You think 75 would be. I've recorded that. I think I've done 76. I've been putting this one off. And what this one is, this is all Wiha. And if you're like, wait, KC Tool no longer sells Wiha, what's the deal? This is all items. The majority of these came in all together. Some of them, are like scattered in orders around it. I think as recently as like an order or two ago, was sticking on some Wiha items. There's still a little bit of stuff there. I mean, it's like super clearanced. It's probably nothing high end, nothing that you really want, but if it's like some oddball, especially maybe like smaller stuff, like computers, electronics, you might get lucky and get a really good price, but most everything is gone, but there is still some of it. And this stuff has been sitting in a box down here behind the workbench, and I'm finally going to get it taken care of, and that's why I am thrilled. Plus, it's Wiha Wednesday, so what we have going, I'm going to try to do this somewhat cohesively for you, and I think on one or maybe a couple of these items we will just elaborate on it later. So this is just the tool haul, kind of gonna burn through it relatively quickly. But the first item that we have, I'm going to try to make sure, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I might be able to link some of these. Most of them go to dead end links. Some of them I think have been pulled from the site. There's a chance I might come in and like link you to Wiha, I guess is what we could do. The North American subsidiary, and you could possibly order from there. But the prices are going to be different. These were some killer prices, and hopefully, again, that's why I announced a lot of this stuff way back when it first started, and hopefully you jumped on it. The bulk of this stuff is like from September, so here we are in like the middle of March, but I am sadly not seeing this item on this packing list. And that's unfortunate, but I'm just going to throw it down and we'll just talk about it then. What we have is Wiha. I believe it's going to be their part number 26796. Before I jump forward, timestamps on everything is down below. Again, if I do the links, we'll have that. If you want to spoil the video, you can. Does the thumbnail tell you everything? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'm kind of old school, keep it simple and clean. But right here, you're thinking precision drivers. Thought you had some. Well, we do. But we did not have precision Torx drivers. That's right. Just like last night and the night before, I was trying to do the Canicon video, Harbor Freight's blatant copy of the Knipex pliers wrench. And one of the subtle differences on the spring steel tab on the back, the Harbor Freight had a Phillips screw and the Wiha has Torx. Haha, we are now covered should we need to replace and repair. Let's see what they've got to say here. As you might recall, anytime we do Wiha, you see something very similar to this, made in Germany. And then the second one is going to be premium quality tool steel, built to last. In this case, you can see we've got a little pouch that rolls up. The Wiha PicoFinish screwdrivers are ideal for delicate and high precision tasks and precision mechanics, as well as for hobbyists and model building. So again, think of like computers, RC cars, drones, camera equipment, all kinds of stuff. Anywhere you see, hardware, screws and fasteners, and you're like, that's tiny, I don't have any of that. That's where this stuff comes in. So, it's ergonomic handle designed with a soft zone, makes it comfortable to use. There's a smooth running rotating cap allowing users to turn the screwdriver quickly. And the printed symbols on the rotating cap make it easier to select the right screwdriver profile. Now, if you pair this with like a KC Tool benchtop stand, right, and you can just populate all precision drivers like they're intended for, it works really well. Your other option, of course, is this is like going to be a seldom used deal, or if like you go out in the field and you have to repair, I don't know, copy machines that might have something this small. It comes in a roll, so you can just throw it in your bag with you or your box. But right there, you get a look at the headquarters. Again, established in 1939. That's the original. And most important information back here for you may very well be this. What sizes are included in this set? And the answer is going to be T5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, and 20. My apologies, this thing is glaring like crazy. But let's go ahead and break her open. And boom, they've done a nice job with the packaging. It's no hassle. That's the way I like it. I don't have to cut and cuss and anything. We just go to town. As you should know, with KC Tool, $75 gets you free shipping, $100 gets you the German tool sticker pack. Anything you do gets you a bit of things. So right here, if you're thinking like, whoa, you know, what's going on? They've got 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Absolutely. And then there is a Velcro tab right there. The cool thing here, we've got a lot of space. So like if you want to populate this thing further, put some more precision drivers in, if you have a stand and you're going to use this exclusively benchtop, you got a pretty nice little pouch here. You can put pins in it, markers, Sharpies, paint pins. I mean, like pretty much anything that could be stored there. This side will have kind of a cover to keep the blades. This side does not. You've got the Wiha background there. You've got it here as well. Case in point, we would just kind of have it like so. And you're ready to go to town. Does the driver stay in? Kind of. I mean, 2 out of 8. That's not too bad, right? So we'll flip this over and kind of get to what matters, and that is what is included, which we'll go ahead and dissect here. Will we ever get this populated the way they had it? It is doubtful. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like they might have gone small to big though. But let's start here. This is going to be, as I might have predicted, the T5. Again, I'll try to get you a look. We'll spend more time on the bigger one. If you're not familiar, this is the PicoFinish. It's the updated PicoFinish. Again, the way these work, you can come in, you've got the spin cap that allows you to, you know, hold and spin and just kind of tighten the fastener down without having to manually come in and, you know, it works. It's not something I have to use too terribly often, but they are super nice to have. Your eyeglasses, I don't know if anyone has stepped up to Torx, but it's that kind of an application, right? So there is our T5. I'm assuming this would be a T6, 100%. And then we're going to get T7. Yep. Again, we'll focus on the big size here. So there is our, oh, T9. Is this the 8? Nope, that's a 15. This is going to be the 20. This should be the 8. 100% right there. There's our 9. Here's going to be the 10, 15, and boom, the 20. So this is going to be the longest one. I'm not going to spend too terrible much time on the shaft lengths. If this is something that's like super critically important to you and you need to know, should be available, provided I remember to link it on the Wiha website. The cool thing, again, you get the Torx identification, you get the size identification, and then you get a standalone part number. So again, that's kind of what we're looking at. It came in a nice pouch. We can use it, we can ditch it, we can do whatever we want to. But I'm just happy because I was able to get this for a super good buy. So, gonna set this somewhere where hopefully nothing rolls away on me. And we will move on to our next item, and let's just do this one, okay? This little gem right here, I'm gonna sit down, and it is a familiar item, a repeat offender. This is a little thing that I thought, you know, I like that thing well enough, I'm just gonna have a backup. Will I take it to work? Will I like put it at a different workbench in the shop? I don't know, but it's something that I'm like, you know what? I like that little thing. We're going to snag another one. So this is Wiha's part number 43090. It's going to set you back $17.19. Pretty sure we didn't pay that for it. And I believe I've done a video where we showcase every blade style for this little guy. And if you're thinking like blade style, is this another, is the Cutix, is the box cutter, what's going on? This is what it is, and I'm curious if this will be updated or not. Oh, Lord, it is. The plot thickens. Had I have known that, I might have snagged another one of them. So, gonna tell you what, I'm gonna jump over here and be right back. Didn't take long, because I know right where I keep this thing, because I do use it frequently. This is the original, one of the OG Wiha videos that we did. That thing has flash rusted a little bit, nothing too crazy. I kind of think, if I remember right, I think it might have arrived that way. The blades, it's kind of cool what Wiha does. They actually come in these little, you know, plastic jars, like I guess like a pill bottle or something. But instead of having worthless medicine, it's got blades. And let's see if I can get that for you. This is going to be what's featured on that one, just the straight standard blade. Again, I'll possibly remember to link that item for you. What's cool is the blades are made in the USA, and they have several different styles. But basically, what I'm super geeked about is the old style right here, had Wiha in white. The new style, it's got Wiha in red. Now, what is the date range, you say? Well, we come in, I've got to remember this one does not have a blade and this one does. I don't want to fatefully swipe prematurely. So what I'm trying to get zoomed in there for you, you can see made in Germany is right there. This is the red Wiha. This is from 2020, right? Good old days when the world wasn't crazy yet for a few months. Right here, sorry, I've got paint all over me. And this one is from 2018. That's how Wiha date codes everything. And you kind of get the idea. You've got the little collet here. You can adjust it. The blades can go in 4 different positions, and you just tighten her up. That one seems a lot stiffer. I guess it's about the same. Almost seems tight. I guess it's the same. It was just super tight from the factory. So again, had I have known, I do prefer that red over the white. The white is classic and nostalgic to me, but just aesthetically, that's a little bit of an upgrade. The main thing with all of the blades that is actually very useful, especially if you have to scrape a lot. The blade life has been fantastic on them. I don't know that I've maybe doled out 2 of the straight ones overall. It's what I obviously would use the most. But you have to remember sometimes to grab it and not like your big traditional scraper. But if you keep it handy, I think you're going to use it. And that to me is one of the staple items. The cool thing about this, if you pick it up, it's very reasonable, but it also gives you a chance to experience the Wiha handle. Alright, so if you're ever on the fence and you're like, I don't want to bring in an individual driver, I'd rather, like get a set, but I don't want to commit to a set. This is your gateway. Bring it in, see what you think of it, project it towards the line, and take it from there. So this is, of course, the classic Wiha SoftFinish. But on that note, we're going to continue right along. This was just one of those deals. I'm not sure how often I'm going to use this thing, but it was the price, man. It was one of those deals. I was trying to kind of complete some sets, expand some sets, and I could not say no to it. And I'm kind of ticked about something on this one I'll elaborate on here shortly. This goes back to 2013, going by the date code. That's not when I ordered it, that's the date code. So it's been there a while, probably because it was an individual and it would rarely be bought individually, especially at this size. And I'm looking for it on the packing slip. Don't think I'm going to see it, but it is a 13mm nut driver. This is like the only metric size they had, and I thought, you know what, I could actually use that. And I think for like the $4 or $5 it was, I was like, let's do it. So the thing I'm kind of sad about, if you recall, I've got the SAE set. It's in yellow. They've since changed that. It used to be red was metric, yellow was SAE. It is a hollow shaft, which is cool. My metric nut drivers I have, none of them are hollow shaft. I'm digging the size identification there. And that's something, of course, the SAE, it's like the electrician color code thing, which is fine. The colors eventually come off. The size would eventually come off. I think the vast majority of people outside of like trained electricians would prefer like a number, quarter, 5/16, 3/8. And the reason for that is like not many people know the color code, right? It's simple, you can figure it out, you can look it up, but seeing quarter and 5/16 is going to help the average person go tighten up a fuel line or clamp or whatever they're messing with. But again, I think this thing was like $4. I was like, it could come in handy, let's just do it. And I did. So this next deal, we just got a cluster of stuff, not even gonna lie. And you've seen me bring some of these in fact I may have like rebagged them. This right here, I don't know, this showcases the yellow I was talking about for SAE. Right there, this does not have anything on the backside. This is 3/8, okay, and it's the MagicRing end, if you can tell right there, the little ring that'll hold the fastener essentially. Very long shaft. It's a 200mm, 8-inch, whatever you want to call it. It's a little dusty. I would have bought sets of these. I would have gotten the sizes I was more likely to use more frequently, like quarter. That would get used a ton. But this was available and I cashed in because it was dirt cheap. I think it's on this order here, if I'm not mistaken. That thing was $10.69. That was a great, you got to realize that's an 8-inch shaft. So, they've got some material there. And to get that for $10.69, sign me up. For about half that price, $5.12, I got this one. It is the 1/8 inch, and what this is going to allow me to do is basically come in and I can take that guy and we can take this and we can just fill in, because from an 1/8 to 3/8, that's sort of the sweet spot. You know, if you do anything crazy big, you might have 1/2 inch, but it's usually 1/4. That's what I'm typically spinning. But pay attention here, you have the Wiha SoftFinish printed out with a part number, and here you just got Wiha in white. If I spin this around, this little guy is from 2019, so that's what they had gone to. And then this one is 2017, right? So 17 to 19, and then if we had something from 20, we would probably see that yellow coming through instead of like the printing. So that would be sweet. I do think they have updated these further and they've just gone red, which, you know, the yellow was unique. You could easily, if you were heavily invested in Wiha, you could separate them. I get doing it both ways. Can't really fault them one way or the other. These next two items, I think one of them was brought in earlier. Maybe it wouldn't, because I got a 30 and a 40. I think I got, this was like, I brought it in and okayed it for what I was going to do. And one of these was like 938, the other was 10. And what are these? They are Torx drivers. You got a 30 and a 40. But not many people know about that they had blue handles. Okay, this isn't something like you've heard me like, man, I wish you could soft finish in blue or different colors. Look at that. Yeah, you're not going to use this very often, right? But it's there. They did it. It looks amazing. I'd love to see it with standard drivers, sort of like the beloved Pro Turn or the 3Ks. One of the first things I brought in from KC Tool, one of the things that led me to this. These suckers right here, they've got printed on the back side. You got 30 and 40. And then, let's see here, we are looking at 2015 and 2016. So these went back a while. I think, don't hold me to it, but I think they might have switched these over to all red as well. Probably sometime shortly after, but not going to say too much about those, because you might be seeing them in the future when I get some free time. So this next thing that fell out of the bag, we'll go ahead and talk about it. It is Wiha's part number 71132. It is a number 2 by 25 millimeter Phillips drywall stop bit. This thing was listed for $3.16. I think we paid like, I don't know, it may have been sub $1. It might have been $1 and change, but it was a good buy. And that's why we snagged it. Again, right there, 71132. Sometimes I can get in these bags, and sometimes, man, I can't. So let me drop this sucker down. It's nothing fancy. I've never used anything like it. I just kind of thought it might be an interesting little item. But basically, it's a bit. It will go in your, power tool or your, bit holder, whatever you want. And then you just put your drywall screw on when you go to town. I guess limits or let you know, like, this is the stop point. Not exactly sure. I don't do a lot of drywall stuff, but I've got that in the arsenal now. And it's good to know about it, because if I wind up doing a project, I'm more of like an industrial type. So, a lot of times people in their shops, they, do drywall and they texture and they paint. And I'm kind of more of like a let's bolt up some channel iron and, hang some metal pegboard on it type of a guy. So, nonetheless, I do kind of have some stuff in mind for that. That's really why I bought it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we will also see that in a future video. This next one is really cool too. I think I brought in maybe a couple of these. It's not on this ticket, sadly, but let me just grab it for you. And this is, again, one of those deals I sort of couldn't pass it up. And the price point standard would be $21.14 for this guy. And this is, again, a deal where I sort of wish I would have had a bigger selection of sizes available, but alas, that was not the case. This goes back to 2015. Wiha date code system, but you can see there I wrote down $21.14, so I'd know the price at least. Flexible shaft nut driver. It's 1/2 inch. It's got the ergo cushioned grip. So if you're thinking like, okay, well, it looks like a regular screwdriver, you got a million of those things. If we flip her around, like you can kind of see there, it says 1/2 inch. If we flip it this way, it's 1/2 inch, and you're thinking like, well, that's cool, but you know, are you really gonna, you know, be using 5/16 bolts and nuts and reach for a nut driver? Maybe. It kind of depends what I'm doing, but what's cool about this one is the flexible shaft. And again, if this would have been available in like 1/4 and 5/16, which I use all the time, 3/8 even, it would have been a way more practical deal, but it's just, man, you know, it was too good to pass up, you know, the price points, you know. Same thing with this, you know, hollow shaft 13 millimeters. So there she blows, right? Now I'm going to check the time because I do have dinner in the oven. I've got like 5 minutes, and that's fine because this is the item that I want to sort of focus on in a standalone video. This one all came in on this order. This was a video I'd planned to do for a really long time. This is a video that I wasn't quite sure ever how I was going to piece it together, what sets I was going to get, and it wasn't honestly a high priority, but it's something I don't think enough people know about. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for some of you, and for then people that's not really for, you're probably going to be interested in it. And what I'm talking about, it's honestly a deal you just don't see people cover this or use it or talk about it any. And I'm going to do that, and we'll probably go full standalone here. But what I have here, again, it's kind of a strange little setup, but it's their part number 10893. This was an ESD safe Torx screwdriver blade pouch set. And you're like, what mumbo jumbo just came out of your mouth, buddy? Well, yeah, if you're into black and yellow, you're covered. And if you're thinking like Torx, you know, like I guess that works. You know, what sizes? Well, you got 6 plus 8, 7 plus 9, 10 plus 15, 20 plus 25. You've got a pouch. And we flip it around so you can kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. And you're like, oh, you know, just a plug and play type of a deal. And that's kind of it, really. It's what we call Wiha's Drive-Loc. And what it's going to allow us to do is to take the handle, depress. I've made fun of like a really cheap, I should have it sitting here somewhere, screwdriver that was included in something I bought as your like put it together item. Man, I'll never find that thing since I actually want to showcase it. But I might have referenced it then, and I was like, man, this is like Wiha's Drive-Loc, you know? And so basically, you have this, and you're going to picture a scenario where you would just pull back a little collar here, and then you slide the blade in. Now, the catch is you don't have to go all the way. If you want the blade to drop back all the way and just barely have anything sticking out, you can do that. If you need a really long shaft of a driver because you're going way down and you have to have the clearance up top, you can make that happen too. The particulars on it we're not really going to get into. I've honestly not played with that. It's not been opened. But I'm super curious. And what I did, again, coming in, I had to sit here and like bargain hunt and be like, okay, there's a couple of sets left. What bits are included? What bits would I use? And then if there was like a huge set, you're like, oh, that's way too much money. Wouldn't use half of that stuff. But then ultimately, what I found to be the best bang for my buck was to just pick this up because it came with a blade holder, a couple of blades, and then I was able to source this stuff really economically. Okay. Case in point, I think they're also on here. These are going to be basically, they were $9.20 to $9.90 a piece essentially, and I think that was standard pricing, not the clearance blowout. I think these were more like around $4 to $5. And if you sit here, one of the things, I don't have a lot of squared stuff. Do I still use squares? I actually do. And it's mainly at work, and it's nothing like we do manufacturing wise or anything. It's the window screens, man. It's the stupid screws and the screens on the window, and it's super dusty, and every time I have to go out and take them off to clean them or shop vac them, you know, and I stay late or something, I need a number 2 square. And it's a deal. I've been using it's one of the reasons I took that like 13-in-1 Wiha driver to work, and I always just bust out the number 2. This is going to be something that would work there, but it's a number 1 and a 2, and you'll note it's like almost like a knurled barbell, you know, little dimple die depression stuff, right? And the other one that I got, again, you got to realize I would have gotten a ton of these, but there was not much to pick from, right? And I'm one of the early early approachers of this sale. This is the number 1 and number 2 Phillips. It's a must pick up because I'm going to use that number 2 all of the time. And then one that I was really proud of, and I think this may have been the last one, it is the bit holder. And what that allows me to do, balling on a budget here, is take this, plug this in any bit that I own now. Yeah, I would have loved to have had, you know, posi bits and, you know, security Torx, all of them, right? But now I can sort of like cheese it and just put this in, and then I can put the bit here because it's just simply a bit holder for that drive end. I hate kind of leaving you on a cliffhanger there. I'm not even going to open that. It will be a standalone video. It won't be KC Tool Haul. It'll be where we talk about that. By the time that happens, I very well may go in and pick up some more Drive-Loc blades from Wiha or another source. I'm not 100% sure. I'm super, super excited about it. It's something I've always wanted to try out. I'm not going to lie, I'm more of the person that prefers a standalone dedicated tool, even versus a bit holder. Depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing, really. But in a perfect world, if I'm just here in the shop doing my own thing, on the bench, on a car, under a truck, whatever, I like the standalone drive. That's part of the reason I have so many, right? There's some people that just buy me a bit holder and get me tons of bits and will throw them away and get new ones. I like the dedicated tool. I know that's not the most efficient way to do things, personal preference. But with this, there's just so little out there in the internet land about it. I'm excited to get to open it up and showcase it. I'm not going to touch this, not going to open it until that video. I want my opinions, thoughts, and first impressions to be genuine first impressions. So that's what we're going to do. None of this stuff is going to get opened. And if you're like, oh, you're going to have that box sitting under your workbench, buddy, that's what you're trying to avoid. Fear not, I'll just make a place for it in a toolbox and we'll call it good. So, in fact, I'm not even going to have those in the thumbnail. You're going to have to watch the video or sneak around in the timestamps to find that. But with that said, I'm a little 2 minutes past my dinner buzzing. So, I'm going to wrap this up and call it good. But this is KC Tool Haul 74. It really is bittersweet. I was a very big Wiha fan, and it's sad to say I don't know what happened. I'm not like some super inside, like part of the company, stockhold, nothing. I'm just a customer. Basically. I don't know anything about it. If I did and I knew what it was and I could tell you, I would. I don't know what it was, so I can't. But it's sad, because like I liked Wiha, I liked KC Tool, and KC Tool had the best prices on Wiha stuff. So that part really sucks. Wiha's website is actually pretty competitive. I hate Grainger. I'm not going to buy from them ever. Unless I have to, which I hope never happens to me. Fastenal, it kind of depends on, who's running the place. But Wiha's website truly is not that bad, especially for like the stuff that Lowe's isn't going to have, or like your local electrical outlet. They're probably not going to stock the Drive-Loc. They can probably order it for you. But then are they going to be in line with Wiha? Are they going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit higher? You factor in freight. Always, always, always do what's best for you in terms of saving the money, right? And so I'm probably now, when I buy Wiha stuff, I'm probably going direct to Wiha. I've had to do that in the past. There's some things like the big screwdriver stands KC Tool didn't ever stock. There's a couple of items that they had at Wiha way before KC Tool, so I would order from there. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just KC Tool had really good prices on Wiha, so if you're not aware, like Wiha is not dead, it's just they're no longer distributed by KC Tool. And that's sad to me because it was a brand that I loved from a company I like, and like I said, it saved a ton of money. So with that said, there's still a lot of Wiha stuff we'll probably bring in, whatever they develop new, we'll take a look at, see if we want to get it. And we'll probably be filling in some of this stuff too. We'll eventually complete sets or grab sizes I use and then be sad when I need a size I didn't grab, and we'll have to go get it too. But yeah, I've got to quit rambling so I don't start a fire. That would be pretty sad. But that's it, man. KC Tool Haul 74. The floor's clean. So nice. I've got one coking box back there, so I have to crank that one out, and then everything else is like on perpetual back order, it seems. So The good news is I'm recording this in March. You probably won't see it till the summertime. That's how stacked up we are on videos, but better to be ahead. That's what I always tell myself. So on that front, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Website, LoneStarMopars.com. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you like what I do, I encourage you to subscribe. If you ring the bell, jump your charger across the creek, grab a 2016 Wiha product in your right hand, a 2015 in your left hand, hold a 2020 in between your big toe and your left index toe. Is that what the second toe would be called? I've never actually thought about that, but YouTube just might let you know otherwise. 9 a.m. Texas time, that's all we're trying to get to. And perhaps the most important thing, I want to know from you. Yes, if you've used any of this stuff, if you love it, if you hate it, if you've never seen it, all that stuff, feel free to discuss it in the comments section. But this is finally when I get to ask you, what did you pick up from KC Tool for Wiha's farewell? Right when it was announced and it was going on clearance, what did you jump in and snag? Did you beat me to like the really good, Drive-Loc deal? Did you snag 6 of these for, your place of work and coworkers for Christmas gifts? Whatever you bought, that's what I'm really interested in. I want to know what you picked up, why, if it's an always use item, if it's something that you love and you want backups for, if it was like, I've always wanted to try that and it'll never be cheaper. That's what I'm really excited to see in the comments section. So on that front, I gotta go. I don't want to start a fire. I don't want my dinner to burn, and I think I can watch the Mavericks and Knicks while I eat. So with that said, thanks for watching. Have yourself a fantastic Wiha weekend, and I will catch you back here for more action from the shop.